On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, the Federal Reserve joins the Bitcoin community by mining Bitcoin on one of its servers. Vaultoro is the one-of-a-kind online exchange where you can trade between gold and Bitcoin. Reserves can be audited online at any time and are protected from confiscation and company failure. Sign up for a free account today by checking out the link in the video description below. Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney. Today is the 1st of February 2017, so let's get into the market roundup before we get onto the news. Today, something has happened that almost never happens. Bitcoin is the biggest winner of the day. Obviously, Bitcoin is the most capitalized coin, and it's gained 5% in the last 24 hours, putting a Bitcoin at $980.31. Well, that's according to CoinMarketCap. It's a little bit out of date, but we'll get into the cryptocurrency price chart in a second for Bitcoin. The biggest loser of the day is Augur, down in 10th position, and it has lost 2.55% of its value in the last 24 hours, making an Augur token, which is REP, R-E-P, worth $4.13. Now, I'm sure you all know what Bitcoin is, a decentralized currency, etc., etc. Augur, on the other hand, is an Ethereum-based decentralized app. It's a prediction market. So you can create a prediction market to say that a certain thing is going to happen, and then people can bet for or against it, and then the people who are correct win the money, basically. So yeah, check that out. Prediction markets are nothing new, but the idea of a decentralized prediction market is a very, very interesting application indeed, and I hope they do well. Moving on to the cryptocurrency price chart then, I've decided to do away with the one analysis because that segment is just getting far too long. I'll just look at the dollar price, and the two charts are roughly the same shape. There are just some nuanced differences. And again, I don't want to turn this into an investing show. That wasn't the idea. The tagline of the Cryptoverse is news and commentary. News, not price analysis, right? This was just a curious little tidbit for you investors out there. Anyway, what you can see yesterday is Bitcoin had a bit of a run. You know, I was drawing my ascending triangle yesterday. Well, it's kind of broken the top of that, as according to how I drew it. So, what did I say? Normally what happens in that circumstance is that the run that comes after that is normally equal to the run in to the triangle itself. So whatever the height of the run in is equal to the size of the run out. So I haven't calculated that for sure. In fact, let me pause for a second and do the calculation, and I'll give you my prediction. Okay, so I've just done the prediction based on the beginning or the run-up of the triangle being 776 at the low end, and then the top of the triangle being $950, right? So that's a $174 difference. So then if we add $174 to 950, the run-up, the top of the run-up is looking about 1,124. So that's my prediction. We'll keep an eye on the chart as the days go on, and we'll see how accurate that is. In terms of the news then, I have turned to CryptoCoins News. It's cryptocoinsnews.com. And okay, so the Federal Reserve has not suddenly seen the light and decided to become pro-Bitcoin. This story relates to a guy who was on the board of governors of the Federal Reserve, so at least that's something. So let's see what went on in this particular situation. It says a former employee of the US central banking system, the Federal Reserve, was issued with a fine of $5,000 and sentenced to 12 months probation for mining Bitcoin on a Fed-owned server. It says a former employee because of the order in which things happened. Right? He got fined after he was fired from his job, but he still did commit the offense while he was working for the Federal Reserve, so make that clear. It then goes on to say that Nicholas Bethaum was employed as a communications analyst. He installed unauthorized software on a board server enabling him to connect to an online Bitcoin network to mine the cryptocurrency. And the software was installed between March of 2012 and June of 2014. So this guy had a pretty good run. For more than 2 years, he was mining Bitcoin on this server. And I looked at the chart. Around June of 2014, the lowest price that Bitcoin went to was around $400. So he probably would have been mining it when it was cheaper than that. And if he'd have held on to the coins that he mined, I think he will have done pretty well out of this, to be honest. Now, it also says here that he pleaded guilty to one charge of a misdemeanor for unlawful use of government property. Now, I suppose they could have said he was counterfeiting money, but I think that would have been a little bit too rich coming from the Federal Reserve, don't you? It says Inspector General Mark Baileck's statement read, quote, "We were unable to conclusively determine the amount of Bitcoins earned through the board's server due to the anonymity of the Bitcoin network," close quote. Now see, that's not a good look for Bitcoin. This is a clear instance when Bitcoin's anonymity actually helped someone who had committed an offense to hide the details of what they did. Now, I don't know why they didn't just ask the guy how many Bitcoins that he mined. It doesn't actually mention in the article whether they asked him this or not. But I would have thought that they would have at least asked him, if only to make sure that he pays tax on that income. You know what it's like. They'll get you one way or another. So the question is, how did he get caught? Well, it says here, a forensic analysis was able to confirm his involvement, leading to his firing from the board. An admission of guilt followed soon after. Right, so once the mining software was set up, and he told it to send the earnings out to his external wallet, there's no way to know who was receiving that money, because you can't know who owns that Bitcoin address. But what I imagine they did, though, was looked at the server logs and found out that this guy was who installed the software in the first place. That's why everyone has their own login on a server, so that there's an audit trail of everything that's installed, every action that goes on the server. Everything is logged in an audit trail according to the user that took that action. So that's where I think they would have nabbed him. And it says he was a communications analyst, but that could mean anything. I don't know how technically competent he is. He could be any kind of communications analyst. Now, I think he was lucky here because he got away with only a $5,000 fine and 12 months of probation. And it says that he could have got a year in jail and up to a $100,000 fine. So let me sum this up then. You might think that during my commentary on this article that I've been subtly trying to suggest that where this guy went wrong and how he could have avoided getting caught, but that's not my intention at all. I do not condone anyone using Bitcoin in an unlawful or an unethical way. The fact that this guy was mining Bitcoin is irrelevant. He made unlawful use of government property. He knew what he did was wrong because initially he denied his involvement. And you can say what you want about the Federal Reserve. I have my own views on them. But I do not support anyone doing what this guy did. But I do hope that the title I chose for this episode does one day come true, and the Federal Reserve decide, as an organization, to join the Bitcoin community voluntarily. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And please support the Cryptoverse and boost cryptocurrency adoption by going to cryptoversity.com/podcast and becoming a patron. From a few dollars a month, you can secure Cryptoversity's future, get unlimited access to all Cryptoversity courses, and access a private patrons-only chat group where you get direct access to me. That is all for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.